2 years ago, on November 3rd, 2023, I received a very strange notification from the YouTube channel GT Live. You know, the one formerly run by this guy. Maybe you heard of him? For those who don't know, anytime someone ats your YouTube channel in a comment or video description, YouTube will let you know. So, obviously I thought, oh, cool. Someone must have left a comment mentioning me in this video. The weird thing, though, was that I couldn't actually find the comment until I scrolled up. Oh! Yup. 2 years ago, the future, former, and present hosts of Game Theory and GT Live reacted to a video made by little old me who had yet to crack 15,000 subscribers about Five Nights at Freddy's. Which is still an absolutely wild sentence. Yeah, so obviously, I watched their video right away. But I haven't gone back to watch it since. Honestly, I don't really remember much of what they said, and I definitely don't remember what I said in the video they were reacting to. So I thought it'd be fun to take a little trip down memory lane and react to Game Theory's reaction of my video. And in hindsight, I think I kind of made a complete fool of myself, because, well, you'll see.
But this
let me know if the
one
volume
that we're
is good.
reacting to today, I think tackles another really interesting subset of this question, right? So,
And by the way, this was taken from a live stream on my Patreon. So if you want to see the full uncut version, there's a link in the description down below.
See, inclusivity. I like that. You
love
don't
it.
have to like it all.
Right?
Just
I mean-
like this one of those bits.
and look at this. Like, what is the
Oh.
strongest possible fusion? This feels like an absolute banger of a Game Theory episode.
This is
Why don't
great.
they close the doors? Why don't they stay closed? Love that. This is great. All in your head. This is the one that we're reacting to. It's
All right.
statistically strongest.
They're
techno.
liking it.
Can we? This. I have not watched his videos yet,
No.
but I'm already very excited to
This
like,
is
be like,
great.
please come on to the team.
Please.
You must
Hey,
join us.
I'm not on the team.
One
but-
of us. One of
of
us. So anyway, here we go. All in your head. So how would you explain the Van work? So this one was recommended by a lot of people over on the Game Theory subreddit. Which, if you're not over
Okay,
there-
yeah, so I had no idea. That was one of my questions, was how they found the video. Because it's not the most popular FNAF video that I've made by a long shot. But I guess some people on the Reddit, on the subreddit, recommended it. Because it's like topical. I don't remember when exactly Ruin came out, but seems like about a month before. Because I remember specifically doing this because it had just come out.
So this apparently has solved a chunk of this, and who knows? Maybe this will solve the whole thing. So this is what we're reacting to today, Tom.
This would be
I don't
great,
think it
like,
solved the whole
it's a
thing, to be
masterpiece,
honest.
No sense.
And before we hop in and see what his conclusions are, I'd love to. We should probably do a quick assessment, right?
Yes.
Because on one hand, and we'll react to it in live too, but on one hand, it's one of those things where it is a virtual augmented neural network mask, right?
Yes.
So it's a VR headset to some extent.
Yes.
But more realistically, in the game at least, it seems like it functions. So there is a difference between VR and AR, which VR, you're in a virtual world, right? Like I am seeing a screen and I'm dropped into that world. AR is I'm projecting digital assets into a world around me. I'm still in
Into
my
a
real
world, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? So if I'm seeing like a
So I'm having some flashbacks about this video. I'm pretty sure I do talk about that exact thing in the video. And they've already called it out, so.
computer, which is where potentially the implant comes in, because that's the other weird thing about this. And
Okay, so I'm sensing where they're going. In my head, I was like, you know what? I think I do remember what this video was about, and I think it was actually maybe kind of cool, the conclusion that I came to. And I think they might be, based on what they're gearing up, they might be about to call it out right now.
again, we
Which-
should
which-
probably react to this in real time, and then we
Yeah.
can talk through in real time. But as we get started, and we haven't sat down and truly thought through a lot of the ramifications of this, but that idea of the occipital implant that they tell you at the beginning. Like, oh, we just implanted something into your brain.
It's that help we can still talk to you. That's the thing, isn't it? It's trying to, from a game perspective, it's going, hey, here's how we can get the tutorial bot to be with you forever. Yeah.
Because if something's implanted in my brain and it's sending my brain, signals and chemicals and whatever.
But now, yeah, then also it becomes that thing of, is it making the blockages appear in the real world, so that when you put on the mask, you're seeing the true path.
Yeah, and right. An occipital lobe is back, which is responsible for visual perception, color, form, motion.
So I don't think we actually need to watch the whole video. I think they have called out each and every bit of it. I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe there's some other part that I'm like, don't remember, but I'm pretty sure that this is a pretty big part of it. It's talking about the point of the occipital lobe, the science. I always got to include the science.
I am curious to see how he finds all this. I think
I found it exactly. Hey, you know what? Then maybe that means that it's correct. If two people independently, that's the whole peer review process right there in science. You mean in science, a science lesson in the reaction. The point of the peer review process is if multiple parties independently can come to the same conclusion, produce the same results, then it's more likely to be correct. But here we go. Reacting to the reaction to my own thing. We'll see.
How does the Vanny mask
I'm
work?
interested to see
explained. Here we
if
go.
the quality of the video is bad.
Ready to solve it all.
Is it?
No,
he's just solving the Vanny mask.
Which will inevitably solve it all.
No, yeah.
Know me. Normally, I don't like touching FNAF lore with a 29.5-foot pole. Instead, I usually like to look into the
reference, Tom.
Is it?
Tom doesn't get the reference?
This man.
This man.
This man.
This man.
You don't know what he's referencing?
I'm not sure I do.
Oh my god. Didn't know the 29.5-foot pole? Dude. Shoot. I was gonna do a bit. If I had to describe FNAF lore, I would call it a triple-decker sauerkraut and toadstool sandwich with arsenic sauce. I think is it. 29.5-foot pole. Is it 39 or 20? I think it's 39. I think I messed up the reference. But maybe you know what? 29.5-foot. No, 30. Add an extra 10 feet on there. I might touch FNAF lore at that. 29. No, 39. I could be convinced. I think I beefed the reference.
I'm very excited about this.
Engineering and science behind everything.
Wait a minute. I didn't even realize his thumbnails use
very green.
They discovered.
I see you.
Wait a minute.
I see what you're doing there.
So, here's the thing. Yes, I'm address the allegations. Shamelessly stole it. Absolutely shamelessly stole the. I did it as a bit the first time. So the first FNAF video I made, I don't fully remember, but it was in reference to something in a game theory video. And so I was like, oh, as a bit, I'll put the green text on the thumbnail because it had something to do with, I don't remember exactly what, but I remember thinking that it would be a funny bit. And then it was the most viewed video on my channel at the time by kind of a lot. And I was like, well, I'm just going to keep doing this. Screw that. So yeah, I stole the green.
Is he even using Gotham Ultra? I think that is
Gotham Ultra. Wait a minute. I think, chat, write that down. I use Gotham Heavy. Gotham Ultra. The one I use is called Gothic Heavy, I think. Franklin Gothic Heavy. Gotham Ultra.
Confusion.
Today's video was to try and explain the Vanny mask.
Yeah, I stole
and
it.
how it lets you walk through solid walls.
Great question.
But in the process of researching that, I think I accidentally solved everything. I don't think I did.
Stop it!
I don't think I solved everything. But
Stop it! Believe, Matthew, believe!
they like that. Wow. They like that. You gotta be bold.
Just how FNAF goes.
You gotta say you solved everything, right?
It feels like it's mandatory at this point.
I solved one detail, and now everything makes
That you got it. Look, in this world of YouTube, if you're solving one thing, you gotta tell them you're solving everything. All right. Unless I actually, you know what? Maybe I did solve everything and I just don't remember. Who knows? Maybe I'm smarter than I thought, or maybe I'm a charlatan. Which is probably, I think it's probably the second one.
Oh no! What horror have we wrought upon the world?
Oh.
Hit that intro.
Oh my
Is that a thing?
The references!
Is that a thing?
And there's a slowpoke! I'm just very excited by this. I love Pokemon.
Ash is
Matt.
dying about hit that intro.
That's my thing!
That is
It's my thing!
that is. But every time before we start rolling, we make a dat intro joke. Like roll that intro. What one thing I
didn't know
can't
that.
live without. Dat
Dat
intro. Oh yeah, no, totally. So
I mean, I feel like at that point that's telling Richard to hit that. I don't hit the D that hard. I feel like I say that intro. But guys, I think I have been knowingly and unknowingly apparently stealing from Game Theory for years. For years at this point. It's crazy.
the fact that he just did it.
This is my favorite video already. I love this.
Hey,
My favorite.
hey, favorite video already.
Oh, it's
I don't know about
tastiest
that.
Pokemon.
Alright, so I know you probably have a lot of questions after that, but let's put all those fake Gregories and complete lack of any cathartic ending aside and focus on the Vanny. Wow, I had some thoughts on this. Virtual Augmented Neural Network
Yes, we were talking about
Integration.
this. Yes.
At first, this sounds like just a whole bunch of techno mumbo jumbo that some writer spent. This sounds like just a whole bunch of techno mumbo jumbo that some writer spent like 30 minutes coming up with just to have an 30 minutes seems generous, to be honest. 30 minutes seems pretty generous. I think that's exactly what happened, but it was more like 5 minutes of like, all right, we need a Vanny acronym. And then it just came up with this game.
I mean,
but let's go.
That is also
that is also true.
It is impressive though that they came up with something that is close, like it has meaning. Like
Yeah.
I'm actually impressed that they sometimes I feel like with FNAF they don't plan out things and then they luck their way into stuff like this where they're like, oh, how could we make this one?
Honestly, I think a lot of FNAF is, what do they call it, yes-anding? Stuff that, or maybe not yes and, maybe more like sort of and also is what they do.
There's been a couple stories in the books where they use virtual reality and augmented reality very interchangeably.
Yeah,
and
Tiger Rock was particularly bad.
I feel like I'm
Tiger
going
Rock
to
being
talk
the
about
title
that.
story. and
Not the
being this,
books.
like,
I didn't know they.
big
I'm going to be honest. Maybe this is exposing me as a FNAF lore fraud. Well, honestly, to be a FNAF lore fraud, you have to pretend you know anything about FNAF lore to begin with, which I have not done. I have read exactly one short story from one of the books, and it was the Phasgoo one. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm all set. I think I'm good on these. I think I'll cut my losses. Is it a deep vat of possible insane science videos? Maybe. Do I care? No. Are they? Does that mean they're always right or always wrong? One by one,
lore,
to
please.
figure out what this actually means.
Okay.
Virtual and augmented are both pretty clear references to virtual reality and augmented reality.
Agreed.
Now, technically speaking, let's keep a running tally of things that that I talk about that they have already called. 1. Difference between virtual reality and augmented reality. Stone Cold called it at the beginning.
are
not the same thing.
He gets it.
Virtual
Doesn't matter,
reality
he gets
is a
it.
completely simulated reality where nothing you're seeing is real, like with VR games like Beat Saber. And AR
I love that.
is when
I love.
something
Can I just say?
I thought about Beat Saber.
Anyway,
Yeah.
virtual reality, augmented reality.
is placed in the real world,
Yes.
like that one feature in Pokemon Go that you immediately turned off.
The one that
Either way, though,
they are.
the gist
did,
is that
honestly.
this
Yeah.
mask shows you things that aren't real. A neural network is a subset of machine learning, or in buzzword terms, AI.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, boy.
Vanny. Oh boy, what I didn't know. This was 2 years ago. What a buzzword AI is now. That now it doesn't even mean anything. Now AI is a word that companies say, and everyone gets mad at it. And they probably say it because they know everyone gets mad at it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Is an AR/VR headset that integrates
They couldn't decide which?
into the neural network of this AI called the Mimic.
That is actually.
This is how
I don't think that actually makes sense. I don't know if that
I don't know if integrate is the right word. Because you aren't a part of the algorithm. I don't think it even really uses machine learning, to be honest. Well, maybe with the Mimic later on. Kind of. It's a weird interpretation of it. I don't think integration is the correct word here, but maybe we'll see.
Replicate Cassie's voice and how Gregory can comment on things that Helpy says throughout the game. It's because they're both part of the Mimic neural network. All right.
Yes. Yeah. I think I feel like that's pretty clear. I don't think we need to.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't. I have the context.
I think you actually did a really good job of explaining that.
Okay.
It's a pretty.
Don't know if I
topic,
agree,
but I thought that was well done. Good job.
Right. So the
I kind of lost
fancy
myself
VR headset that allows an AI to copy your voice and make you sing Frank Sinatra with Plankton. Cool. But that's still.
That feels
Yes!
that feels like a deep cut that I am not getting.
That was a thing back in the day. Plankton sings Frank Sinatra?
No, it's my FNAF. No,
Yeah.
it's not a
Y'all have
connection I
seen
made.
all the Plankton AI singing things, right?
Yes.
See,
No,
all right.
That's the thing. That's where I'm clearly missing a connective tissue here.
I think me and Ash are
very
really
good
the
at
ones on the
Frank
same
Sinatra.
I've seen the
on the same
YouTubers
wavelength.
singing AI
Apparently
singing
hit that
various things,
intro,
like Matt
we
singing
both
about
say. The
tacos.
Frank Sinatra Plankton memes.
There's an AI.
Doesn't explain, the whole phasing through solid objects thing.
I feel like I was supposed to show the clip there and I just didn't. We're gonna blame that on Richard, on the fake editor Richard. I motioned to a clip
phasing through
that's
solid
not there.
objects thing. In the games, there are certain points where like a box is blocking your path.
Well, maybe
but
I-
if you put on the mask, you realize that the box isn't real and you can walk right through
Right,
it.
which it should be the.
But if
reverse,
it's
you
really
would think.
a VR headset, then surely it should be the other way around.
Aha!
Right?
Ah!
Wearing the mask, you see boxes and stuff blocking your path.
Correct.
But when you
would
take
think
it
it would be the
off,
opposite, yes.
you realize that it's all just virtual. None of it is real. I mean, that's how
going for water,
AR
don't it?
works. My first thought was, I don't know, dude, it's a video game. Magic or something.
We all been there, friend.
And to be fair,
I think
right,
that's the
like,
correct
that's,
answer,
that's,
to be
again,
honest.
One of the
Then, but looking a little deeper, I think there is an actual explanation for this. Shortly after putting on the Vanny mask, Helpy implants some occipital transponders into Cassie. More big science words, let's break that one down too.
yes, great.
The occipital lobe is the part of the brain.
I
that
think they
interprets what
pulled
your
up this
eyes
exact
see.
image
So
earlier in the
your
video.
eyes receive
Earlier in the
light
reaction.
waves, and then your occipital lobe converts that information into colors, depths. Basically, it controls.
I like that we did a mini version of this before we started doing this. Like, yeah, we
Stone
went
Cold
through these points. This
called
is
it
amazing. Yeah, his thought process is solid. I like it.
Yeah.
what we see. A transponder is a device that detects radio signals. So, if the Vanny mask
I didn't think about
implants
that.
That's interesting. Yeah, I forgot the transponder.
I
was-
mislay. This is me. Just modern me. I put the text on the wrong layer. It's supposed to. I broke the illusion of the chalkboard. It's supposed to be behind me. Also, is that exclusively true that a transponder is just radio waves? Device that, upon receiving a signal, emits a different signal in response. So it could be. It takes in information, puts out a different type of probably radio.
That's a good
what
call
I've
it.
used.
Right, because I just was thinking transponder as like, oh, it's a receiver, but tying it to radio, that's interesting.
Okay.
So-
So here's my guess for based on what I've set up, and I don't fully remember. And if this isn't it, it should be. Transponder, based on what I just read, changes one signal into another. So, it like the light waves come into your eyes. Normally, it goes from your eyes to occipital lobe, which interprets what you see. If there's a transponder in the way, it can take in that information, that light wave based signal, and turn it into a different type of signal, i.e., you see something else. That's what it should be. If it's not,
So my prediction then, is where
Oh,
he's
shit.
taking it, is sound discs. When he calls out radio, no, but like
I don't remember. I don't think I did make a different video about the sound illusion discs, which I think was a different. Maybe I talked about it here. I don't remember. I haven't watched it in a while, but the sound illusion disc video is the one that I remember. Seems the dumbest going in. And the explanation is like, there's actually something kind of interesting here. I remember thinking that was a cool video, but you know, maybe I'll have to react to it. And the next time I need some content for holidays. Who knows? Because maybe I will go back and like, this is not good. I don't know. We'll see.
Yep, I'm just.
But right, like if all of a sudden you're implanted with this thing that's a transponder, and you have, you know, something in your brain that's affecting the way you perceive the world around you, it is basically a new version of the sound illusion.
Well, it's audio and visual,
right?
Isn't it? Because then it's occipital, which is the sight part of your brain. The transponder is an audio.
It is.
Into the occipital lobe, then it could, at least theoretically, use radio waves to alter what you see, even when you're not wearing the mask. That would suggest that the objects that you can
I don't think that's
face
true.
in the game don't actually exist at all. When you have the mask off, the occipital transponders make you think that there's a box or whatever in the way, and maybe it's like so realistic that it tricks the rest of your nervous system into thinking that the box is real too, so you can't move through it, I don't know, Matrix style. This is actually very similar to the rightfully despised sound.
Oh no, I did talk about him, and I called them rightfully despised. Wow, they called out something even I didn't remember was in here. Also, you know, realistically, that explanation of like, oh, it's so real that my mind is making it real, that's made up. I don't think there's any science behind that. But in sci-fi rules like The Matrix, yes, you could, you know, make that allowance, I suppose.
Yeah, baby!
Oh, we're excited about it.
Occipital transponder.
I like that everyone has to disclaim that they're stupid.
Yeah,
like,
everyone says everyone hates these, by the way.
Right?
You have to disclaim it basically, like, I don't think this is cool, by the way. I'm saying this not because I like it, but because it is a fact. It is a lot of the way people talk about FNAF lore.
One of those where it's a disclaimer, I don't like these things, or like disclaimer, this isn't necessarily, I don't agree with it, but
they exist.
But they exist, and apparently they're used, and apparently whatever. No, so this is one of those where,
So essentially, the Vanny unit does two things. It implants transponders into your brain to affect what you see, and it gathers information from you that it can integrate into the Mimic AI. Great.
Yeah.
I don't think I did a great job setting that second part up as like establishing that that's a thing that it does. Aside from that, it has the I stands for integration. I don't think I justified that second part at all.
Problem solved. Video over.
I don't think it is fair, Matt.
Except there's still one question that I have. Why though?
That was good.
Isn't that just the question for FNAF? Why though?
Also, can I just call out, since I paused it, because that was actually very funny.
That was great.
I'm so stressed out about the deer with these gigantic antlers.
It wouldn't be able to lift its head, surely.
I'm very concerned.
They don't know.
It needs to
These
shed.
people don't know.
It needs to shed.
It does. I feel like that's overgrown, my friend. And
if you know that reference.
let it go. If we ever, I don't know what avenue we would ever do a
trip.
theory about that, but I could see myself doing a theory on the antlers on this man's head. On that deer's head.
Wait.
Well, it's a starter. It's on a t-shirt.
Wait.
Ash has thoughts.
Is that the golden deer?
Oh, me and Ash got all the same references. We know AI Plankton. We know Fire Emblem. That's the golden deer. Fear the deer.
Between Dad Intro, a Fire Emblem 3 Houses like icons showing up, and all of the chaos that's happening on the couch, we're just begging for a collab. This is a match made in heaven.
Ash just found a kindred spirit.
Look, I'm around. If y'all ever want to do a reaction to my reaction to your reaction to my video, I'm there. I'm free. I don't know where Game Theory is located, the Game Theory HQ, but let me know. We can talk. We can do the Golden Deer neck problems science video. All right, I'm in there. I'm all about it.
The whole goal of Helpy and the mask is to trick Cassie into setting the Mimic free. How does making her think there's a box in the way unless she wears the mask help with that? And what's the deal with the anomaly? Is that a feature of the mask? Helpy sure doesn't seem to like it. Is that just more part of the manipulation? Yeah. I know the villains in this series aren't known for having super well thought out plans, but like, what was even the goal here? At first, I was just gonna leave that one for the professionals to mull over, but
Did I say the professionals were Matt and?
at first, I was just gonna
that?
leave that
FNAF?
one for the professionals to mull over. But
Why did I only put 2? Professionals is just those 2 guys. I feel like there were other popular FNAF theory people out there. Nope, it's just those 2.
Hey,
You and John. You and John, man.
there it is. There it is.
I feel like that effect would have been better if there
Yeah,
was like
this is
6
the
guys
this is
raining
the face of
down.
The professional. I like that John was also the 2 professionals. There they are. We
They
got
are.
them.
You and John.
let's start
Great.
with the anomaly, or MXES. How do you say it? Mexis? Is that how you say it? Mexis? No. Mexis sounds like a place you'd be order like a burrito or something from. Actually, you know what, Richard? Do you want to order us some Mexis? Our first glance
Did I have a real burrito there?
come from.
I
Actually, you know what,
commit to the
Richard? Do you
bit?
want to order us some Mexis?
I did. Wow, a full-on burrito
Our first glance.
with a really
seems
fake-looking
I'm
bite.
appreciating his gags.
This is a good gag.
The main
See, that I would have taken a real bite. Now I would have committed and then talked with food in my mouth for a little bit. That's real commitment to the
antagonist
bit.
for most of. If you beat the game, you discover that the Tex-Mexis is basically the.
I think I just come up with different Mexican-sounding
mimic trapped in the
restaurant
basement.
names for
in a
him.
twist, this thing is actually the good guy.
Right.
But then, why is it always popping out and making me spill my my water in my lap?
What?
Richard, don't you pan down. Richard, don't you dare.
gonna
Well,
pan down.
think
No,
about it.
Richard did not
The
pan down.
only
To see the joke, the very intelligent joke that they're not getting. I was gonna pan down to see that I had in fact peed myself because I was so scared of that guy popping out. And if you have to explain the joke, we all know that means it was executed perfectly.
only 2 things that this guy does in the whole
No,
game
let's go
are
for it, it's fine.
chase you down while you're wearing the mask,
Right.
or activate beacons that fully prevent you
Yeah,
from
he's trying to
wearing
get you
the
from
mask.
wearing the
Whether it's scaring you into taking
So notes to this is both like I'm interested in what they have to say. I'm also interested in I don't watch my old stuff back. I could have been way more succinct in how I explain this. But at the time, that's one of the perks of not working full time while also making weekly videos. I would do one draft of a script. I would write it. I would look through it maybe for to make sure it made broad stroke sense and there weren't I guess typos don't really matter in a script. If I had done this now, I could have shortened that a lot. This whole thing of just hey, he doesn't want you to put on the mask. Boom.
it off, or outright stopping you from putting it on in the first place. It's pretty clear. This thing doesn't want you wearing that mask.
That is an interesting call out, and I hadn't really considered it from that angle, because it's very clear, it wants to stop you from doing the mimic, but from
Helping the
opening up the
mimic,
mimic.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, really, it is stopping you from wearing this mask, which is weird if all of a sudden we're saying, hey, William Afton made mixes, but then also Glitch Trap William Afton is in charge of that.
Then he-
corrupted-
I don't know
Yeah,
any
no,
of
it's a
that.
good
I'm
point.
not commenting
It's-
on any of
This is the
that.
thing, 'cause
Couldn't
you can
tell
only
you.
deactivate.
I think the conclusion that I came to, that I think has since been proven wrong, but that I think makes more sense, if the FNAF writers want to go back and retroactively make this be the case, as they have potentially often done, which is fine, nothing wrong with that, but hey, if you want a free idea. The conclusion I eventually arrived to in talking about the Mimic is that in the original books, I think, that I haven't read, I'll be honest, I don't know if his name is Henry or the Henry adjacent character uses an AI to bring back his kid, essentially. And so in the games, I think the thing that makes the most sense would be that maybe Henry started making this technology. Because if you look at it, AI has actually been in FNAF for a while. The toy animatronics they talk about in FNAF 2, they have facial recognition software that can look for faces and cross-reference between databases, like the facial recognition on your phone. That is in the real world, it seems totally different, but it is built on the same fundamental technology as machine learning programs like, ChatGPT meant to mimic people. They seem totally like facial recognition, language learning models, but they both did stem from the same sort of source of machine learning, teaching computers to look for patterns and then extrapolate based on those patterns. So I think what I have proposed is that Henry sort of, in the FNAF universe, Henry developed that technology for some of the older animatronics, maybe like the book to bring back his kid who died, maybe not. I don't know if there's any evidence to really suggest that. But, the toy animatronics that he made does have this technology. And I have proposed that William sort of repurposed that technology to eventually try and make Gregory, who seems like a robot version of his son, because he says earlier, I will put you back together. This is like his way of doing that. In the process of doing that, he basically did a test version on himself to like figure out how it works, which is the Mimic, which is why it acts like him and, dresses like a rabbit, because it's trained based on his behavior. I think the newest Secret of the Mimic has fully disproven that. I've kind of lost the plot at this point. But that, at the time, I actually don't think when I made this I had proposed that yet, but that is where I eventually landed.
Whatever he was,
We'll
what we were all kind of working under the assumption
I don't
of,
remember at all who this guy
was
is.
he's
So,
happening.
Nexus Bell is trying to stop you from putting on the mask, because if you don't wear the mask, then you can't find the nodes. And if you can't find the nodes, then you can't
Yeah,
find...
like I feel like I'm explaining the same thing several times. Whereas now I would have found a more succinct way to broach this conclusion.
Mimic. That makes enough sense to me, but I think there's actually one other reason why Dell Nexus doesn't want you putting that thing on. Because, funny enough, this actually isn't the first time that we've seen a mask like this.
So I'm going to say the mask, you put on the mask and it lets the computer algorithm, so basically the way that machine learning algorithms work is you feed them data, like a data set. Like ChatGPT, the data set is pretty much the internet. And then it looks for patterns and stuff in that data set. For example, ChatGPT, the patterns of human speech, and then it can replicate that. So it sounds like a real person talking, but it's really basically just based on everything people have said on the internet, predicting what the next most likely word in the sentence is. Which is why sometimes it says some insane stuff and a lot of stuff that's just not true. So I think what I'm going to say is if you put on the mask, basically it's giving the Mimic network access to your data, like your memories. I guess it put something in your brain, which is why it can like replicate people's voices, and it doesn't explain why it can control their mind. That doesn't make sense. That part doesn't really gel with how AI works. But it, making something else that could pretend to be you, absolutely. It's weird that they chose to go with like the mind control route as opposed to like it creating a thing to take your place and then they just like kill you or whatever. That's kind of weird, but I think that's sort of where I'm going in a kind of more long-winded than maybe I need to do that.
Yeah.
Primary antagonist in the main game of Security Breach, who didn't really end up doing anything. At the time, we assumed that this was some sort of digital consciousness recreation of William Afton, who was trying to return to the real world.
Yes.
Because let's be honest, that's probably what it was supposed to be at the time. But it seems like they are
True.
retconning that game to imply that Glitchtrap wasn't William Afton, but the Mimic replicating him.
Yes.
So
That's what
that
I
is-
said.
Yes.
I think that is true. We all agree on this. Good.
Yeah, I think it's got to be, right?
Yeah.
I think they may have now once again retcon that to be something else. But again, I'm not super clear.
this white rabbit mask was the thing that allowed the Mimic to infect the mind of Vanessa, then perhaps the same thing could be happening to Cassie. the more you wear the mask, the more the mimic can integrate you into its neural network.
Yes.
Until eventually it fully takes over.
So that is where the logic falls apart. Because so ChatGPT takes stuff from the internet to create its algorithm. That stuff still exists out there. So it wouldn't in order to learn from you, it doesn't need to take information from your brain. Doesn't make any sense. It could just mimic doesn't mean steal something and then use it. It's like you copy it, you act like it. So I think they kind of have lost the thread, maybe the FNAF people.
I would agree.
That might be what's happening in that bizarre secret ending. That could explain why the occipital transponders make you see all these fake barriers blocking your path. The mimic is forcing you to constantly put the mask back on in order to progress.
That's
slow.
That's cool. I like calling it out that way. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I do think you have to, the idea that you can't, even if you knew that they're fake, the fact that your body can't get through it, that's a little bit weird. And if you really need...
Correct. That is very weird. And I don't think that what I'm saying is what was intended, and maybe just a way to justify their mistake. To be clear.
To have it be occipital and... I'm trying to think of what other thing would trick your sensory...
It's because it's force, isn't it? It's touch.
It's
that
force.
Ability to...
But I like this idea. This... Again, game gonna game, but I like this concept of, it's forcing you to see this stuff because it wants you to put on the mask. I think that's really smart.
Yeah.
Slowly integrating
That's really cool.
more and more
Really cool.
into itself. That means that Mexis is not just trying to stop you from finding the nodes, it's trying to save your life. With that revelation, all of the pieces were starting to fall into place for me, but
That kind of feels like all the pieces.
I still had one lingering question.
One more question.
When we find the mimic, it's behind a wall of concrete. And if the Mexis was designed to keep the mimic locked away, well then someone must have first locked it away.
Right.
But who? Well, towards the end of the game, you can find a little robot named Candy Cadet who will tell you a story of a mother
Bigger
and
than
a
I thought,
child
actually. It's not
who
little.
lived in the woods.
I don't remember
with a
this
dangerous
at all.
monster. The mother
I now have
managed to
zero clue
lock
what
the
I'm about to
monster
say.
in their basement to keep her family safe. However, in time, the monster learned to mimic the sound of the mother's voice, and one day, while the mother was out, the monster sang the child a lullaby in the voice of their mother, tricking the child into opening the door to the basement and letting the monster out. This is surprisingly direct for a FNAF game. I mean, this is barely a metaphor at this point. It's pretty much exactly what happens in the game.
Correct.
Cassie is the child. The mimic is the monster in the basement that tricks Cassie into letting it out.
Yep.
And the mother is... well, we don't know. The most obvious answer
So, I'll just
might
do what I
be
say.
Gregory if we take the story.
Gregory!
Can we do that thumbnail? Gregory is Mrs. Afton.
I guess the most obvious answer would be someone's mom. If, to play devil's advocate against myself. But I think I'm going to say because
Gregory is Afton.
because in the story of what I just said is correct, if the monster in the story is mimicking the mother and the mimic in the game is mimicking Gregory, then Gregory is the mother in the game.
That'd be great. Yeah, I gotta do the thumbnail with the rotation. Love it. Gregory
I don't know. We'll see.
Mother. Oh no!
No, I say.
The monster in the story mimicked the mother, and it was the mother who initially trapped it. Here, the mimic is copying Gregory, so that would mean that Gregory was the one who initially trapped it. However, the real Gregory also mentions at the end that the mimic has been down there for a long time, and he genuinely sounds like he doesn't really know how it got there.
I was gonna say he says that he doesn't exactly know what it is, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember any of this from the game, so I'm going to just take
But we're fighting against it.
And also,
old mind's
he's a
words.
small child. I don't think he's down there pouring concrete over a door. My other idea was
I'd be surprised. I've got my 5-year-old Ollie.
might be a
building
robot.
fence with me right now. Doing a great job.
Loves using that concrete.
Cement.
Cement.
No,
It's,
Cassie's dad? Not only does it parallel the familial connection from the story, but Cassie also briefly mentions that her dad owns a Faz wrench. A weird detail to include considering her dad is never mentioned again. This could just be the...
Don't you play as her dad in one of the games? I have some people are like, oh, this seems like it's Cassie's dad. Maybe it's about him locking away the mimic. I don't know. Or maybe it proves that it doesn't.
Knows what or who knows? Maybe it was Zombie Mike or the puppet or one of the dozen other characters that this series keeps bringing back again and again. I don't really know. And to be honest, when it comes to...
But you said you solved everything. Hold up.
I didn't. I lied. I lied about that.
Hold up. You said you solved everything. Don't be saying
one thing solved it all. Come on.
You said you solved it.
Is that just the trope now? It is literally just how you intro every video. Everyone on the internet has to intro it with "I've solved everything."
No, sometimes you say it changes everything. It's not always solved. Sometimes it changes everything. Okay,
oh,
thank you very much.
This game specifically, it doesn't really matter who trapped the mimic because it doesn't even work. The mimics.
Okay, so another note for my past self. If the conclusion is going to be it doesn't matter who locked it away, don't bring it up. If it doesn't matter, don't mention it. Cut that part out.
Still gets out. Alright, I know this might have been a lot to take in. FNAF is literally incapable of having a straightforward plot, so allow me to recap what the actual story of this game seems to be.
Okay.
A long time ago, someone managed to trap a dangerous AI called the Mimic in the basement of the Pizzaplex. They
slid it down, but I didn't slide it to the
Your theory has solved
bottom.
everything. There better not be people with silhouettes and question marks. I'm seeing questions.
That's a great point. I solved everything. Except this.
So that implies that things have not been solved.
Yeah.
Just saying.
security system called Nexus,
You did not say
consisting of a
changed
bunch of
everything.
security nodes hidden within the very architecture of the Pizzaplex that would keep the Mimic trapped. The Vanny Mask is something built either by the Mimic itself or someone working for it, maybe Vanessa while she was under its control, maybe someone else. This mask allows the wearer to see virtual, augmented representations of the hidden nodes to help them locate and remotely deactivate them. It can also integrate the wearer's consciousness into the Mimic AI itself.
Yep.
Wear the mask long enough and it will eventually fully take over. Lastly, it implants occipital transponders into their brain, which can allow the Mimic to alter what they see via radio.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of recapping. If I had... So notes for myself. If I were to remake this video today, which I probably wouldn't, this last bit about who sealed it away, cut it. Doesn't matter. If we don't know who it is, then I guess I just had a thought of like, oh, this is a lingering question. If it's a lingering question, pose it as a lingering question. The fact that I said solves everything, but then ended with a guy with a big question mark, no notes. That's the, you know what? Respect on that one. I would, for the style of my channel now, and honestly at the time too, I would spend more time talking about the science of transponders and stuff like that, and less about, in the back half, about, I would majorly condense, like, most of this you can say, like, okay, so the way that the guy, the Taco Bell reference, acts is, it seems like he wants you to keep the mask off. And then you can very quickly explain, like, yes, well, because we know the behavior of this thing in the previous games, it sort of takes people over. I think the first Help Wanted is all about people who play this VR game. That's like the whole plot of the game, is that you wear a VR headset to play the game and it like takes over your mind. I think I could very quickly sort of convey that idea and spend a lot more time on what I personally find more interesting, which honestly is maybe not what a lot of FNAF people would find more interesting, which is like, hey, how realistic is the idea of like putting a transponder in your brain to like manipulate your senses, the information you're getting to what you see? Could it like is it possible to create an illusion so powerful that like a part of your brain would stop yourself from interacting with it? The answer is probably not, to be honest. But I would probably explore that. That's what I would be more interested in now, personally. And maybe that wouldn't have got me on Game Theory, who knows? But yes, I think I definitely would have restructured this. Like, I feel like I really wanted to draw out the reveal as long as I could of like, oh, here are all the questions, and then answer bit. I feel like it would have been a bit more, a lot more sort of, I could be a lot more to the point of like, A to B, B to C, C to D, boom, you're done. So yeah,
even
that's
when they aren't wearing
that's
the
my
mask.
notes personally.
The Mimic and the Vanny Mask to lure Cassie through the Pizzaplex. It places fake barriers in her path that she needs to use the Vanny Mask to get past. But the more she wears the mask, the more she loses herself to the...
That I think is the more interesting. That should have been like what I was focusing on in this, is like quickly establish that the Mimic wants Cassie to put on the mask because it will allow it to, you know, take her over, whatever, get her data, whatever nonsense. And then the more interesting part is the manipulations that it does to do that without Cassie or the player guessing their intention. So like go through different points of the game of like, yes, these boxes don't exist, but it's making them exist, so you put on the mask. Maybe like look at lines of dialogue of like things it says, like in context, this could have a different meaning if we know its true intentions. And then also this other thing exists, seems antagonistic, but with the knowledge that the Mimic is actually the one trying to trick you, it recontextualizes it. So, oh, it's actually trying to help you by keeping you from putting on the mask. I think that's a better way to structure this.
The
what
Nexus tries its best to stop Cassie, scaring her into...
If you can succinctly summarize the whole video in 6 minutes without really losing that much, maybe the video should have just been 6 minutes. Maybe, you know,
removing the mask without actually
notes to
hurting her,
pass self,
and activating jamming beacons to stop her from wearing it to begin with. But the Mimic tricks Cassie into deactivating all the security nodes and the Nexus, at which point it can finally
Who
break
pulls him back in?
free.
That's another interesting. It's just like
just being pulled
yeah, just
back
pulled
in.
back
What
in.
happens next? Well, I suppose that's up to you.
It's the friends we made along the way.
kind of a weird ending. Also, this was pre-Patreon. We don't have the the scrolling thing. Okay.
What's next are the friends we made along the way. That was great. This was awesome. Chip Tide.
Honestly, I'm glad they thought it was great. You know what? I'll say it, not my best work. It wasn't the worst. Wasn't as I was worried it was going to be terrible, but I definitely, looking back, have some notes. A lot of things I would have done
done.
differently.
This was really good, and it got me to think. Again, I love watching other people's theories because it gets me to think about things in maybe things that I've known but maybe not articulated, or things that I
Because they
assumed
did
that I knew,
a
but
lot
didn't
of
really
stuff they
fully
did
think
predict
through
at the beginning.
Implications of it. So this was really solid. I think this was great, and I'm very excited to see all the other things. One of us will be reaching out to you to see if you want to work with us.
You know, hey, you know what? I didn't ever hear from them, but in their defense, this was, I think, relatively close to the map. Was 2020, beginning of 2024? When did Matt Penn announce his retirement? Yeah, so this video came out 2 months before Matt Pat retired. Wild. Absolutely wild.
Because you have
then this
potential,
guy
sir.
told
I
me.
like you. Welcome
Hey.
to Game Theorist. No, solid. Across the board, I think this is all interesting. I think there was really good points made in there. And again, it just shows that at this point in the franchise, there aren't a lot of arbitrary decisions thrown in.
Yeah, all right. So, hey, you know what? They liked it. Kind of sounds like more than I like it now. If this is teaching me anything, it's that I should go back and watch my own stuff more. Because, you know, maybe just seeing that and being like, oh, I would have done a lot of this differently. Maybe now I can sort of consciously in current videos sort of apply the problems that I saw in my own, you know, mistakes, call it a mistake, whatever. They're not bad. They're an opportunity to learn. So I'm glad that I have things that I would have done differently about this, because now it means I can do them differently and make future videos even better. So, you know what? So, there you have it. It was super cool getting to watch this back, and I think it's really a testament to what good people Matt, Tom, and Ash are, that they had nothing but good and encouraging things to say about a video that I honestly don't think is all that good. I think they might have just been taking it easy on me a little bit. And who knows, maybe one day I'll get a chance to redeem myself. Or maybe I've stolen one too many green fonts. And I'll never stop. Either way, I know it's been 2 years, but a massive belated thank you to everyone over at Game Theory. This was easily the wildest experience of my early YouTube career, and even now it's still teaching me how to be a better content creator. But no, I was gonna do, I've stolen enough from them already. I'm not doing the thing. I'll see y'all next week for another regularly scheduled video. Till next time. And of course, a massive thank you to all my supporters on Patreon, including Alex, Alakazam, Big Dog Ty for the win, Captain Kirby, Sidian, Sherry and Mark, Stylish, The Boss Killer 94, Ty Studio, and Moki Ubu.